Yeah, from 99. He's in the industrial area. Industrial area. Looks like he's on a pavement. Stand by.
Hello people and sheeple, Panaki News. I'm just going to make a quick video about the code of practice for the exercise of police search powers. So I'm going to upload this document if anyone wants to download it and print it out and carry it around with them, but it covers a lot of interesting stuff. The whole document's quite big. But I've gone straight to the photography and film section, which is the relevant section. Now, the code of practice, the Terrorism Act 2000 is issued under Section 47A and B, as amended by the Protection of Freedoms Act 2012. Code of practice for England, Scotland and Wales, etc. This is for the exercise of stop and search powers under Section 43, 43A of the Terrorism Act 2000, and the authorisation of exercise of stop and search powers relating to Section 47A. Now, Section 47A was the act that replaced Section 44 of the Terrorism Act. Section 44 was where someone could authorise an area, and anyone that went into that area can be searched without any grounds whatsoever. Well, as you all know, that was repealed and replaced with Section 47A, which you'll find is the same authorisation is needed for certain areas that might be deemed as could be under attack by potential terrorists, but they need reasonable grounds. So that's what that one is. Anyway, Section 413, which is to do with photography and film, I'll read a little bit out. Some of this wording you'll recognise from the ACPO letter. There's been widespread concern among photographers and journalists about the use of stop and search powers in relation to photography. It is important that police officers are aware in exercising their counter-terrorism powers that A. Members of the public and media do not need a permit to film or photograph in public places. B. It is not an offence for a member of the public or journalist to take photographs or film of a public building, like I did yesterday. And the police have no powers to stop the filming or photography of incidents or police personnel, like I was doing yesterday, which is why they couldn't do anything. Only this lot actually realised it, rather than most of the police officers that don't give a shit and they're going to go ahead and abuse you anyway. That's what the ACPO letter was created for. That it was a memo and it was put out to all police forces in the country to remind them about their own code of practice. Police officers can, under Section 47A, stop and search someone taking photographs and film within an authorised area. I think the authorisation only lasts for a certain amount of time as well. Just as they can stop and search any other member of the public in the proper exercise of their discretion in accordance with the legislation and provisions of this code. But the authorisation itself of the area that might be under Section 47A does not prohibit the taking of photographs or digital film. So it doesn't mean just because there's an area that's under Section 47A that you can't go into that area legitimately and take photos or record. Only if you're a terrorist, then you're screwed, and rightly so. Further guidance on the use of counter-terrorism powers and photography can be found at the Home Office and police websites. This is all the places where they don't learn nothing. It's like, come on police, if you're going to be a chef, at least learn how to cook. On the rare occasion that an officer reasonably suspects, on the rare occasion They always suspect. I'll start that again. On the rare occasion that an officer reasonably suspects that photographs or film are being taken as part of hostile reconnaissance, a search under section 43 of the Terrorism Act 2000 or an arrest should be considered. Emphasis on reasonable suspect. That means they need to have some kind of tangible evidence that you're engaged in hostile reconnaissance, or whatever you're doing is for terroristic purposes. They need some kind of evidence, tangible evidence, before they can use that as they reasonably suspect. Not reasonable, reasonably suspect that photographs and films are being taken. Okay? Whilst terrorists may undertake hostile reconnaissance as part of their planning, and this could entail the use of a camera or video equipment, it is important that police officers do not automatically, but they do, automatically consider photography and filming as suspicious behaviour. But they're told to. So they're ignoring their code of practice entirely, because they always automatically consider that you're engaged in hostile reconnaissance and your behaviour is suspicious. As you can see and as you watch from every single video of police encounters by photographers that goes up on YouTube. And the size of the camera shouldn't make a difference, according to this, because it's not a risk factor. So it doesn't matter whether you've got a big camera like I had yesterday with a telephoto lens or your phone. Shouldn't matter. Now, film and memory cards can be seized as part of the search if the officer, and only if the officer, reasonably suspects, in other words, you need some kind of tangible evidence that you're a terrorist, reasonably suspects they are evidence that the person is a terrorist, okay? But they quite often threaten you to take your stuff off you anyway. But they need to reasonably suspect, simple as that. Or a vehicle is being used for the purposes of terrorism. But officers do not have a legal power to delete or destroy any of the film. Cameras and other devices should be left in the state they were found, forwarded to the appropriate trained staff for forensic examination. And the person being searched should never be asked or allowed to turn the device on or off because of the danger of being that evidence being lost or damaged. Now, seizures of cameras, section 413-6. Seizures of cameras, etc., may only be made following a stop and search where the officer reasonably suspects that they constitute evidence that the person is a terrorist. So they need evidence that you are a terrorist before they can seize your camera. They can't just seize your camera because they're pissed off that you recorded them, or they're pissed off because they recorded you recorded their police cars or the incident that they're at. They're not allowed to do that. It's as simple as that. They need tangible evidence that you are a terrorist. If they haven't got that, obviously you're not a terrorist. They're acting unlawfully. They're acting out of office. Simple as that. Seizures of items. Any officer may seize and retain anything which he or she discovers in the course of the search and reasonably suspects, very important words, may constitute evidence that the person concerned is a terrorist within the meaning of section 40 of the Terrorism Act 2000. Anything seized may be retained for as long as necessary in all the circumstances. This includes retention for the use of evidence at a trial for an offence. Now, if nothing comes of whatever you was arrested for, they have to give you your equipment back. It's as simple as that. If they don't, then you can go down the legal route to get it back. and that's going to be free as well, because if they seize it under terrorism legislation, that's for a criminal offence, not a civil offence. Civil disobedience found that out because they tried charging him 200 and odd quid to get his phone back, but his phone was taken under a criminal investigation, so it's free to get your equipment back through the courts. And a record should be made of any item seized or retained and made available with a copy of the record of the stop and search. If reasonable suspicion ceases to apply, in other words, if there wasn't any, or they get you back to the police station and they found nothing, the item should be returned to the individual from whom it was seized. Simple as that. They're not allowed to keep it just because they're pissed off that you recorded or took photos of their police cars, their police staff, or anything else on your property. It's not their police station, it's our police station. We pay for all that. And something else, by being there, you're just exercising your Article 19. There you go. Let's have a look. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Article 19. It'd be Article 10 if it's the European Convention of Human Rights. Same thing, similar. Everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive and impart information and ideas through the media, regardless of frontiers. So what I was doing yesterday is also protected under my human rights. And Article 17 states that no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his property. So that's protected under your human rights as well. I think you'll find that arbitrarily means someone's personal reasons for taking it. Something like that. And Article 9, no one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention or exile. Same thing, can't be arrested just because they want to arrest you because they don't like what you're doing. You need to break the law. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know about the Code of Practice, the Police Code of Practice. It's their own documents. And if anyone wants to download them, I'll put a link in the description. And you can download these documents and print them out and carry them around with you. Anyway, bye for now. And make sure you always record the police, because they're lying bastards.
And it's gone right at the end there.
You got into a Sainsbury's.
Put that camera down, or we will tase you.
I know.